Hello. Welcome to tonight's bedtime story by Lucid Tales. I hope your day has held you gently in the palm of its hand. But whether it has been soft waves or riptides for you, it's time to relax now. Find somewhere comfortable, maybe your bed or a favorite armchair, and make sure you're ready for sleep. Gently rotate your shoulders if you can, and feel the freedom in your body, the little loosening that means it's time for bed. Tonight's story is an original story by me, Sukie Baker, written some years ago about 3 friends who face down a crew of pirates under the Black Pennant. It is called To Hell in a Bathtub. Sol decided recently, and very helpfully, that we need a ship. So it's up to me to find us one. That's always the way it goes, isn't it? Sol comes running to me, exclaiming over his great new idea, "This one'll work for sure!" And I just have to nod and smile and go along with it. I don't understand why I even bother. Why do I bother? It's pointless. So I, of course, find him a ship. An old battered tub of a thing, but seaworthy. I hope. It looks like it's seen 1,000 storms, been wrecked on some reef somewhere, then patched back up by a seagull would have had more success, let me put it that way. It's ugly, and it's dying, and it's an absolute floundering mess. God help us. God help me, specifically. This is insane. Oh, don't be such a worrywart, Rips. Solarius, my fine and self-appointed teenage Capitan, crows, brandishing his new cutlass at his reflection in our shattered old mirror. What could go wrong? We sink, we swim. We get caught, we run. We fight, we win. What can one do against such impeccable logic? We are going to die. He ignores me. Horribly, I add. Oh, Ripkin will be fine. Where's Molly? She went to buy supplies. That's my girl. What even gave you this ridiculous idea? I ask perfectly calmly, thank you. Everyone thinks of me as this organizer of everything. It's not my job, I'll have you know, and no matter how much Sol thinks it does, my voice doesn't squeak. Not even when steam is spewing from my ears and the world is falling down around them. Our boat was falling apart. Because obviously this is a wonderful reason to buy a new floating bathtub. Your point is, this one's falling apart, Sol? I'll relax, Ripkin. I promise I won't let anything happen to you. I am reassured beyond belief. Of course we set sail. Our little ship, hardly 40 foot from bow to stern, flounders horribly on its way out of the estuary. And I really, honestly believe we're going to die. Somehow it manages to right itself, and even stops leaking once we've plugged the gaps with my best beeswax. A whole garner that little ball cost me. I hope it's worth it. I decide to make a deal with the boat. I will call you she if you never, ever do that again. The sail flaps merrily. I guess that will have to do. As slapdash and irritatingly spontaneous as Sol can be, he does pull his oar. He's somehow secured us a fortune in rum to transport across the idle sea, to be picked up at Port Halo in 2 days' time. I hope we don't sink in the middle of it. At least we'd have the rum to comfort us before we drowned. 3 days later, we have acquired our delightful cargo and are on our merry way toward Golem Harbour. It doesn't sound very friendly, but then anything linked with a walking stone death machine would find it difficult to sound too welcoming. Molly is doing a stellar job keeping Sol from the cargo. He's desperate to sneak some. I don't know why. The last time he had rum, he was arrested for drunken disorderly behaviour and beaten for being underage. I knew it couldn't last. Our warm, sunny sail toward Golem has been violently interrupted by a gale. Sol insists it isn't a gale, but I'm certain it has to be. We wouldn't be going so fast sideways if it wasn't. I've been sick 4 times today already, and I can feel another brewing. It's vile. What happened to our fair following breeze? We made such good time at first. We could have been at Golem in 3 days. Now it looks like it'll be at least a week. Thank goodness Sol knows what he's doing for once. Even being blown so far off course hasn't deterred him. He's still busy tacking and jibing and shouting orders at Molly and lowering and raising the sail at random. At least it looks random to me. But we're on our way, and he assures me it's the right direction. I really don't know what I'm doing here. He drags me on these mad adventures, and I have absolutely no idea what I'm expected to be able to provide. 2 days later, the gale has blown itself out, and we languish, listless, on the gently rolling ocean. This is why it's called the Idle Sea. I half expect even the water to give a great sigh and lie still and flat and slowly sink away into the ground. I wonder what's down there, at the bottom. Probably all manner of creatures I wouldn't want to meet. I'll try to stop thinking about the high possibility of meeting them very soon. It isn't long on that 4th day before we hear the sound of men's voices from further off. Sol, who has been staring resolutely in one direction with his spyglass, finally swings around and notices the ship slowly bearing down on us. They'll be alongside us in a half hour or so. Almost an hour later, the larger ship pulls up alongside us, and a cheerful voice shouts down, "You all right, boyos?" Several men lean over the rail of their ship. They look like someone raided a children's book about pirates and stuck all of the illustrations up on the sky. There are eye patches and bandanas and beards and a truly astounding array of broken noses. One of them is grinning down at us. He's a big red-headed brute with an over-enthusiastic moustache. I suspect him of missing teeth, but I can't tell from this distance, and with such dirty spectacles. I can't see any oars, so how are they moving? I see slender ropes wrapped with chains sinking into the water in front of them. Oh. They've got a sea beast. Maybe a worm. We're doing all right. Going's a bit slow, though, Sol chirps back. I groan and cover my face. They're flying the black pennant. Just our luck. They really are pirates. What's your cargo, lad? Rum. I wince. Sol is even stupider than I give him credit for. Maybe that's not fair. It isn't fair, but right now it feels like the truth. What's that, lad? Molly nudges Sol with a deep glare on her face. She may not say much, but she knows how to get her point across. Thumbs. Thumbs, lad? Oh, aye, there's a roaring trade in priests' thumbs in Golem. Good luck charms, you know. Are you sure you mean thumbs, boy? Absolutely. My friend here had to count the bloody things to be sure we had the right amount. He indicates me. I nod vigorously. A horrible job, I call. Very messy. How much are you being paid to deliver 'em? A note of favour, I call back, interrupting whatever Sol was about to jump in with. Notes of favour are virtually useless, and first-time sailors are often fobbed off with them. They're not legally binding, so unless the patron's feeling charitable, they get their goods scot-free. Mind if I come aboard? Our mustachioed friend calls down to us, leaning further. Sol consents. I can't really see what else he could have done. My, you lot are young to be heading off by yourselves. Toothless, I don't care if he is toothless or not, I'm feeling spiteful, remarks cheerfully as he steps onto our ship. She creaks in protest, and I feel a momentary kinship with her. Start young, die rich, Sol shrugs. Never a truer word. Toothless leans against our mast and fans himself. Hot, innit? Molly nods. She really is quiet. Now, where are you boys headed? Does he think she's a boy? Golem, Molly replies shortly. Oh, you don't want to be going there, lads. He puts on a big show of surprise and horror. And you heard? The plague's come. My spine goes cold. I'm sure he's lying. He has to be. But... Sol and I exchange a glance, his warning and mine worried. Sol doesn't even hesitate. We have to. Family expecting us. He's a born liar. I admire and abhor it in equal amounts. If plagues come, we'll have to take our chances. We can't leave them in such danger. He goes to the side and leans heavily on it, just behind the man. Toothless's eyes flash with annoyance, and his plan reveals itself. He wants to gain our trust. Get us to like him, come up to his ship. Then our ship, and whatever our cargo is, belongs to him. They can slit our throats and dump us over the side, and it's just another tragic shipwreck. Those poor children should never have left land by themselves, not at that age. And they get away free. I can't see a way out. Then Sol does something I didn't expect. His cutlass is out, and against the man's throat before I can even open my mouth. So that was why he moved behind him. He pulls back Toothless's head and presses the cutlass harder into his skin. Well, now we have an interesting situation. A gentle breeze licks my cheek. You don't want to do this, lad, Toothless says, softly, menacing, his cheerful facade gone. He's not pretending anymore. There's a ship full of men there. You'll never escape. He doesn't believe Sol will do it. I know better. I know, that's why I'm thinking. Be so kind as to shut up. Molly stamps down into the ship. I wonder where she's going. She returns with a hacksaw and heads to the bow. What are you doing? Toothless asks. Sol quiets him by pressing his cutlass a little harder. A thin line of blood appears on the man's neck, and he makes a choking sound, suddenly fearful. Sol's mouth is a grim line. He'll do it if it comes to it. We stand in tense silence while Molly grasps one of the sea beast ropes and starts to steadily, methodically saw through it, between two of the loops of chain around it. You can't do that, Toothless protests. You're mad. Desperate men, Sol murmurs to him. We'll let you go when she's done. Then you can go back to your ship, if it's still there. With that, the rope snaps audibly and one end disappears instantly below the suddenly roiling surface. Sol lets Toothless go, and he leaps for the rope lowered from his ship, pulled violently off his feet and dangling from it as the sea beast realizes its new freedom. The ship suddenly careens off to port, away from us, and is dragged across the idle sea toward Fruga and anywhere else there may be in the south. Sol collapses with a nervous laugh, leaning against the mast and giggling. I sink slowly to my knees. And Molly, brilliant, practical, marvellous Molly, she just goes to the tiller and angles the sail to catch our blessed breeze, sending us once again on our way to Golan. Good night. Sleep well, and I will see you soon for another bedtime story.